if he can win Ohio, which is a winner-take-all GOP primary state, and it's definitely a purple state in the general, then he has a case to be made to keep going. But if he can't win his home state in Ohio, he might as well just vote himself off the island.
Former Virginia Senator Jim Webb is running for the Democratic presidential nomination. More on that from Jerry Bodlander.
The 69-year-old Webb is a decorated Vietnam veteran who was Navy Secretary before he served in the Senate for one term. He announced his candidacy in a lengthy statement on his website, acknowledging he faces long odds, but saying the country, quote, needs a fresh approach to solving the problems that confront us and too often divide us.
For more election coverage, visit onenewsnow.com. Credit card companies are backing away from a source of human trafficking. Charlie Butts reports that now includes 3 firms.
MasterCard has announced plans to stop handling adult advertising fees for Backpage.com. Attorney Pat Truman is president of the National Center on Sexual Exploitation.
Every day on Backpage, women are sold into trafficking, and it's the leading source for ads of prostituted women, many of whom are trafficked. But about 80% of your advertisements for women and children sold in this country are right on Backpage.
USA Today reports American Express has also dropped Backpage, a Texas-based firm with a Dutch owner, which makes $9 million a month.
Backpage has been on our Dirty Dozen list for 2 years just because of this trafficking in women that takes place on its site. And I'm so glad that organizations like MasterCard and American Express are waking up to the fact that trafficking is not tolerable in a decent society.
Visa has also announced it won't deal with Backpage, so the firm will effectively be defunded, unless company officials find some way to work around the cancellation.
U.S. employers added 223,000 jobs last month. The report from the Labor Department also shows the unemployment rate fell to 5.3%, which is a 7-year low. But Dan Celia, Financial Issues, says that is because of a drop in labor participation. He adds that wages were flat for the month of June.
This is the lowest that wages on an annualized basis have sunk since 2012. So basically, wages are doing nothing, not to mention all the fear we have about being able to pay our bills.
Celia adds that hours worked per week was unchanged, another issue that Celia says has been happening for several years. And final news this hour, NASCAR is requesting fans refrain from displaying the Confederate flag at NASCAR events. Daytona International Speedway will hold a voluntary flag exchange program this weekend in which fans can swap any flag of their choice for an American flag.
In this day of economic uncertainty and soaring unemployment, safe investments are often hard to find, but investing in the precious metals is the safest investment of all because gold and silver is real money. Government-printed currency is not. Call Melody Cedarstrom at Discount Gold and Silver Trading Company at 1-800-375-4188. Melody has been helping people secure their financial future for over 10 years. While others in the business claim honesty, Melody will deliver. Give her a call, 1-800-375-4188. That's 800-375-4188.
Years ahead of the dominant media, FirstAmendmentRadio.com and FirstAmendmentRadio.net.
Okay, welcome back to the Investigative Journal on this July 2nd, 2015 day on our calendar. I'm your host, Greg Anthony. You're listening to FirstAmendmentRadio.com. Catch my show every evening from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. That's on FirstAmendmentRadio.com. You can go and get all my replays at ArcticBeacon.com, ArcticBeacon. I'll slow down for you. But anyway, you know, there's a lot of different ways to look at things. Many different ways. And a lot of things we present on this show just ram up against people's belief systems. And sometimes they have a hard time with that. But remember what I said, there's a lot of different ways to look at things. And what I mean by that is your faith. Now, faith is a word that we use in many different terms. We use it in spiritual terms when we talk about our faith in a creator, our faith in God. Some people call their faith in Buddha, others in the Hindu gods, and on and on and on. But we also use that word faith when we talk about the world we live in. Yes, many people put faith in their governments. Many people put faith in their military. Many people put faith in their communities, in their civic organizations. Some people put faith into their spouses, into their parents. And I believe when you use that word in those terms, that it's a bit misguided. I believe you can love different things. You can love your spouse. You can love your parents. But to put faith in them would be something that you're always going to fall short in your beliefs and hopes and what they can do for you. And that's usually how we view it. What can your spouse do for you? What can your parents do for you? What can your community do for you? What can your government do for you? Now, the point I'm trying to make is that, first of all, when you love your spouse, there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't think I'd put faith in that, because basically what you're doing is you're gonna have false expectations, false hopes, false dreams. Every spouse, every parent, every person on this planet is fallible and makes mistakes and errs and is always going to let you down. Oh yes, it's going to happen. And so to put faith in a government, to put faith in a country, to put faith even in your closest loved ones, is a term that you better watch out how you use it. Because I'm not saying you shouldn't love them and care for them and expect that they should do things for you and you should do things. No. But to put utter faith in that is something that you're going to regret in the end. Because in the end, there's only really two ways to look at this. And I'm going to play something for you to prove this, because we're going to I'll let you deal with the issues of your spouse and your parents and your loved ones and your community organizations and all of those things that form your life and are very important. But what we're going to talk about today, first, I'm going to play a 4-minute clip by a guy you're going to know, Matt Damon. 4 minutes and 50 seconds. I was sent this today. And I was sent this in glowing terms by an emailer who said, "Look at Matt Damon. He's standing up for us." Now remember, there's many different ways to look at things. Now we're going to look at the way you should look at the world and your governments and the elite. And we're going to say this before I play what Matt Damon's going to tell you. There are many different ways to look at it. Now, the person that sent me the email feels this is a good thing that he said. He's on our side. I don't think so. And I'm going to explain why after this 4-minute and 50-second clip. Oh, by the way, we're going to get back to the circular Earth theory today. And I got a couple other things to talk about before that. But let's listen to what... Now remember this, when I'm doing the Tony Alamo stories, I've got a couple Tony Alamo people coming on next week to continue that story, so you don't forget about how we've been taken, our freedom of religion and freedom of speech has been taken away from us. And when we look at all these glossy terms, freedom, we got the 4th of July. I call it 4th of July the slavery holiday, because really we're all slaves. And the 14th Amendment of our Constitution proves that. Now, all these people that give these glowing terms of have faith in America, have faith in your government, have faith in your military, have faith in the elite. You know something? I think you're going to have to listen to what Matt Damon says. Now, like I said, there's many different ways to look at it. Some people think he's on your side. I don't think so. And I'll explain why. Because Matt Damon was one that when I was doing this Tony Alamo story and showing you how Tony was railroaded by the powers that be, he has a little blog where he says he was very happy that man's in jail. Something's wrong. Well, Matt Damon basically is a Hollywood sellout. He's going to talk a good game here like the Pope does. But I'm going to show you really what's behind it. Let's listen to Matt Damon on the elite New World Order. Here we go.
I start from the supposition that the world is topsy-turvy.
Okay, I'm going to get the right volume.
That things are all wrong. That the wrong people are in jail, and the wrong people are out of jail. That the wrong people are in power, and the wrong people are out of power. That the wealth is distributed in this country and the world in such a way as not simply to require small reform, but to require a drastic reallocation of wealth. I start from the supposition that we don't have to say too much about this because all we have to do is think about the state of the world today and realize that things are all upside down. Now, if you don't think, if you just listen to TV and read scholarly things, you actually begin to think that things are not so bad, or that just little things are wrong. But you have to get a little detached and then come back and look at the world, and you are horrified. So we have to start from that supposition that things are really topsy-turvy. And our topic is topsy-turvy, civil disobedience. Now, as soon as you say the topic is civil disobedience, you're saying our problem is civil disobedience. That is not our problem. Our problem is civil obedience. Our problem is the numbers of people all over the world who have obeyed the dictates of the leaders of their government and have gone to war. And millions have been killed because of this obedience. We recognize this for Nazi Germany. We know that the problem there was obedience, that the people obeyed Hitler. People obeyed. That was wrong. They should have challenged, and they should have resisted. And if we were only there, we would have showed them. Even in Stalin's Russia, we can understand that. People are obedient. All these herd-like people. Remember those bad old days when people were exploited by feudalism? Everything was terrible in the Middle Ages. But now we have Western civilization, the rule of law. The rule of law has regularized and maximized the injustice that existed before the rule of law. That is what the rule of law has done. When in all the nations of the world, the rule of law is the darling of the leaders and the plague of the people, we ought to begin to recognize this. We have to transcend these national boundaries in our thinking. Nixon and Brezhnev have much more in common with one another than we have with Nixon. J. Edgar Hoover has far more in common with the head of the Soviet secret police than he has with us. It's the international dedication to law and order that binds the leaders of all countries in a comradely bond. That's why we're always so surprised when they get together. They smile, they shake hands, they smoke cigars. They really like one another, no matter what they say. What we are trying to do, I assume, is really to get back to the principles and aims and spirit of the Declaration of Independence. This spirit is resistance to illegitimate authority and to forces that deprive people of their life and liberty and right to pursue happiness. And therefore, under these conditions, it urges the right to alter or abolish their current form of government. And the stress had been on abolish. But to establish the principles of the Declaration of Independence, we're going to need to go outside the law, to stop obeying the laws that demand killing or that allocate wealth the way it's been done, or that put people in jail for petty technical offenses and keep other people out of jail for enormous crimes. My hope is that this kind of spirit will take place not just in this country, but in other countries, because they all need it. People in all countries need the spirit of disobedience to the state, which is not a metaphysical thing, but a thing of force and wealth. And we need a kind of declaration of interdependence among people in all countries of the world who are striving for the same thing.
Okay.
I start from the subject.
That is Matt Damon. I vehemently disagree with him. It really sounds good. And he can get you almost to, clap like they were doing in the audience. He's got a good style. He's a trained speaker and actor. And a good-looking guy. But listen, the message on the surface sounds great, doesn't it? Let me go through that message and show you why it isn't. First of all, he calls it a topsy-turvy world. Now, most of us would agree with that. But where is the topsy-turvy? Where is it going to change? He calls for a reallocation of wealth. But where is that reallocation going to be? It's going to be socialism. It's going to be taken from the middle class, not taken from him and his billions in Hollywood or from the Pope. Those elite and him will remain the same. What's going to change is the allocation of wealth in a socialistic society, which is contrary to what he talks about as far as the Declaration of Independence. Now, secondly, he says he wants people to disobey the law. That is the perfect New World Order guise for getting you in jail. That's exactly what they want you to do. They want to lead you to civil disobedience. My point to you is this world will never change. It's always going to be this way because that's the way God ordained it. And if you begin to take his message and go into civil disobedience, you are going to either end up dead or you're going to end up in jail. Contrary to what he says. Because that's exactly where all of these people want to lead you to. Our government officials, the inside New World Order, the PSYOPs people on the internet, even the truth tellers who want to lead you to evil, to civil disobedience. That's what they're working for. And I told you a long time ago, revolt is not the answer. The only answer is to make yourself available with information. That is more powerful than anything. And to listen to him, like I said, it sounds great. But it is the wrong message. Now, secondly, he said he wants to take us back to the Declaration of Independence. Now, apparently Mr. Damon doesn't really understand American history because the Declaration of Independence is a document written with a hidden agenda. And is anyone going to start calling out who these people are? I don't see him naming names. I didn't see him call out the Vatican. I didn't see him call out anybody. But he's calling out the middle-class people to revolt against these evildoers in office. Exactly what they want. Because once you do that, they're going to say you're going against God and country. And you know where Mr. Damon will be? He'll be up in his mansion somewhere. And there's not going to be no allocation of wealth in his part. There's going to be no allocation of wealth in the part of the Vatican. They're going to keep their money, and we're going to lose all ours. And either end up in jail or end up dead. And that's exactly where he's leading you to. So don't listen to that garbage. Do not revolt. This world will not get any better. It's only going to get worse. So what do? You make yourself available and tell people the truth. That's about all you can do. And the only person that can change it is God, the Creator. And that's my next point I want to make. And let me check the time here. The next point I want to make is this. I talked about faith. You're going to put faith in Matt Damon. You're going to put faith in people around you that are going to civilly disobey. No. I wouldn't put 1 ounce of faith in those people. I wouldn't put 1 ounce of faith in any people when it comes to this issue. Now the issue becomes, who do you put your faith into? And there's really only one. There's two ways here. You can either put your faith in something greater than the individual, the human being, into a creator, into a God that you know, or you can not put your faith into it and put your faith into man. Yeah, that's the only choice you have. Or don't have any faith. Now, the point is, that's your decision. I can't make that for you. I can't tell you to have faith in God. I can't tell you that's the right way. I can only tell you those are your choices. Your really only choice is to have faith in a creator or have faith in nothing. And that's basically what's going to happen. Otherwise, you're going to start having faith in your spouse. You're going to have faith in your parents. You're going to have faith in all these kind of things. You're going to have faith in yourself, which is really the biggest mistake of all. So that's up to you. And that leads us to what I want to get into in this last few minutes, the last half hour. Well, I got, about 8 minutes to go here. And I wanted to talk about this. We've been talking a lot about the powers that be leading us to the trough of hell, leading us into this quagmire of a world that seems to be, we'll use Matt Damon's term, topsy-turvy. But really, when you think about it, we really had no choice. This is what we were born into. The only choice you really have is to understand it. And I think we live in the time that is so unique. We have so many opportunities to understand things. We're deluged with information. That's really our choice. That's really the goal here, is to figure out what's good information, what's bad information, where are you being deceived. And many people have called this the age of deception, which it really is. And what is the age? We've always lived in an age of deception. Human beings from the beginning of time have been deceived by this plan, this old world order plan. We're just another generation living with it, but seeing it in a different light, because I think we're seeing more. Now, we're seeing the deception of many things. Now, many people in the past, people ask me, what's the ultimate deception? And I said, the ultimate deception is the fact that they're telling you that you live on a globe Earth. They're telling you exactly the wrong thing, I believe. I think, and people back in the old days understood it, but they weren't really deceived, were they? Because nobody was really pushing another agenda on them. They were just using their common sense and doing some study into it. But when you really see how you've been deceived both spiritually, secularly, and take it to the new level of even the planet that or we won't even call it a planet, even the Earth that you live on, then something's up. And somebody sent me an email today and said, maybe, why are so many people catching on to this? Yeah, I've never seen so many people talk about this as I do in this year and last year. And somebody said, well, maybe the Creator, maybe God is making this known. He's letting us know what these evil people are all about, because he's maybe going to step in someday. Well, he said he was. We don't know when or where. I'm not going to surmise. I'm not going to even speculate on that question. But that's an interesting perspective from someone who believes in God, who has faith in God. So let's look at this issue. If they can manipulate you to even not allow you to understand where you live, and to take you for trillions of dollars, and your leader, that is the ultimate of all deceptions. And I really think that people are going to fight this issue who are not going to even research it tooth and nail, because they cannot fathom it could go this far, but it can go this far. Now, yesterday I was talking about how it's easy to look at chemtrails in a whole different light. It's easy to look at a lot of different issues in a lot of different ways, and I think that's your responsibility. Are those planes up there really planes? What are they really spraying up there? Who are they? Is it a holographic image? Is it a combination of both? What are they doing it for? Now, I'm going to spend the next half hour going back. There's a couple little... Now, the Lawrence Wright I played yesterday, he's going to go over a lot of the flat Earth stuff, and I like to call it circle Earth. But I think I'll forego what he's going to bring to you to bring on some more information regarding the ice wall that surrounds us. Yes, in 1892, there is a map that was found in the Boston libraries, and it was used by mariners all over the world that showed you this. And they even, and I'm going to play that and have to talk over it for a few minutes. Then I'm going to play something little... I want to recount the life of Angela Barnes, who was a precocious and a very bright young lady in the early 1900s that was trying to start a movement to get all the globes out of classrooms because she realized that the powers that be were lying and this Earth is not the way they tell us it is. Now, we'll spend that half hour doing that, but I want you to think about this. You know, Antarctica, so you always picture, close your eyes and, you know, if you still have the idea that it's a globe ingrained in your belief system, you're thinking about looking underneath that ball, right? But it's not there. Well, close your eyes and just picture a circle with the North Pole in the middle and a big ice wall all around that circle, and this landmass all around surrounding the North Pole, and then you're going to see what really this Earth looks like. I tend to believe, or to have more trust, let's use the word trust, not faith, in those old mariners back in the 1800s that were trying to get around the globe. There I go, you see? It's easy to make a mistake around this circle before I believe a word that comes out of NASA's mouth. And what that map, this new standard map that I'll go over in this short presentation that I'm going to have to talk over, will show you. Get a look at it on the internet. It's amazing. It's another flat Earth, circle Earth map, similar to the one the UN uses, shoving it in your face, telling you, hey, we know it's a flat, we know it is, but we're going to make you believe it's different. And we're going to take trillions of dollars from you and then use it to kill you. Use those trillions of dollars to kill you. And Matt Damon's talking about a redistribution of wealth. Well, where does he mean that? Where? I didn't see him saying, take that. I didn't see him talking about the Vatican money, the NASA money. I saw him talking about, the people have too much money. Oh, really? Back in 3 minutes on the Investigative Journal.
Hear it first on FirstAmendmentRadio.com and FirstAmendmentRadio.net. The program you are listening to is 100% sponsored by you, the listener, on this First Amendment Rights Media channel. You will notice that there are few commercials on this radio network. There's a good reason for that. Corporate advertising dollars come with strings that limit program content. So without your help, these programs cannot continue on internet or our several affiliates. If you benefit by the educational law programs, we ask you to give. If you are admonished or nurtured by the Bible and ministry programs, we ask you to give. If some voice a cause that you are passionate about, we ask you to give. If you believe in any of these, we ask you to support them as you would a missionary on a continual basis, as if giving a tithe for missionary radio. These programs are not commercially viable and must be supported by those faithful to the cause of truth. Look for the button to sponsor your favorite programs at our listen and schedule pages on the internet. Then, when you subscribe, we will send you the last quarterly MP3 CD of that program immediately, and continue to do so with each new quarter. We will also give you unlimited archive access to all of our programs. We're asking you to give much less than a tithe, so that you may also send support directly to a particular program host, cause, and anywhere else the Spirit may lead you. do all to the glory of our God and Creator, for His holy nation, the only kingdom that will last forever. Thank you for listening. Gold and silver is tremendously undervalued. Global demand vastly exceeds mine supply by more than 60% annually. There is little in the financial world more certain than a coming explosion in the prices of gold and silver. The U.S. dollar continues to lose value and respect as the world's reserve currency. Our nation faces challenges on many fronts, and a day doesn't pass without another economist bringing forth warnings of impending economic calamity. There has never been a better time than right now to acquire physical gold and silver. Discount Gold and Silver Trading was founded on the principles of truth and honesty. We believe in providing a quality product, quality service, and most importantly, competitive pricing. We provide all forms of precious metals, including American gold, silver, platinum, and rare investment and circulated coins. Silver bars, rounds, and 90% silver bags are on hand for the silver investor. Gold self-directed IRAs are available. Call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188. Toll free, that's 1-800-375-4188.
Okay, we're back on the Investigative Journal, and I promised you this half hour we're going to get deep, deep, deep into the subject of this ice wall that is surrounding the earth we live on. Yes, it's surrounding the earth we live on, and I'm not going to even get into the fact that you're viewing in your mind now a globe. Let's get that out of your mind. Just close your eyes for a second and picture a big circle with the North Pole in the middle and a big 200 or 300 foot ice wall surrounding the earth. Just have that in your mind, and then put all of the continents right onto that platter, onto that plate, so to speak. And you get a better picture of what you're living on, I think. Now, I think key to this whole story, one of the keys is Antarctica. Now, it's really amazing. We never fly over it. Anything down there in the southern hemisphere is all screwed up when you start looking at flight patterns and all this kind of stuff. And the reason is it's not as they show on the globe. Makes absolutely no sense. Now, another thing is when you listen to the powers that be tell you how to get to Antarctica, they're going to bring you to two spots down in the southern hemisphere. And there's a McMurdo base station. Then you can go to the South Shetland Islands, past the Drake Passage, and then supposedly that's Antarctica. Well, that's just part of it. That's just part of the ice wall. Down in, if you go south, you're going to run into that. If you go north from the North Pole, you're going to run into it up there. If you go east, you're going to run into it over there. West, you're going to run into it. But down there, it's close to land masses. It's very close. So they can sell that idea. Now, the idea that we've never explored this ice wall is false. A mariner in the 1700s named Cook, James Cook, I believe his first name. He went south, found that ice wall that he documented, and he began to travel around. He followed it. He didn't try to go to across. He didn't try to just go on land and go across it. What he did is he followed it on the edge, trying to get through it somewhere. And he traveled some 60,000 miles in a circle, all around. So just picture him down south and taking a left turn, following that wall all the way around and never being able to get through it. And he documented that. 60,000 miles he traveled. And on basically a circumference of the earth, they tell you is 25,000 miles. Makes no sense. Because they understand that we live on a flat earth. And they're hiding it from you. They give you the sign and symbol right in the UN flag, but people think, wow, that's nothing. Oh, it's something. But listen, there's a map. Somebody sent it to me today. I've known about the new standard map of the world. This was created in 1892, and it was made for mariners to travel this planet. And there I go, using that word planet. You see how they've got me even thinking. They're traveling this, we'll call it plate. And when you see this, it blows your mind. Now, this was this particular new standard map of the world. It's Gleason's. not any relation to Jackie. It was found in the Boston Library. It was done in England. And the name is J.S. Christopher Blackheath, England. And I'm going to play for you just an average Joe who found this map. And he's got a little YouTube called Scientists Vote the Earth is Flat, and Why. Now, somebody put that YouTube together. This is just a short part of it. But I want you to look for the new standard map of the world and start feasting your eyes on this. It's very interesting. I'm going to spend a few minutes, and if I have to explain some things because you can't look at it, I will do that. So let's see, because I want this average Joe, just an average guy, to explain it.
From a friend, a subscriber, it's Bill Plastic Yard. I want you to look at this. Longitude and the time calculus, okay? And you need to look real close on the projection of the modern calculus, something.
Okay, this gentleman's not the most well-spoken man, but that's all right. Many people communicate in many different ways. Just bear with me. He's talking about on the projection of the modern college. So this was a very well-respected map around that time. Before the military decided to do everything in GPS so they could control all this stuff. They don't want you to learn how to navigate with a sextant and all these things that you mariners used to do with the stars. You know, why did they navigate with stars? Because the stars were, something they could follow. They have a purpose. They always seem to be in the same patterns. Now, if you believe NASA, and we're traveling 64,000 miles on the Earth is traveling, you could never follow this stuff.
It is A&S, Blackheath, England. Okay, patent allowed November 15th, 1892. Okay. Now let's have a look at this. This is going to blow your minds, friends. We'll zoom it up a little bit because this thing's going to take time to move.
Yeah, this will blow your mind.
Okay, here it comes. Check it out, guys. I'm going to bring it up, 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 bring it up. Okay, I'm going to stop it about right there for a second.
All right, now let me try to paint the picture here. He's got this map, the new standard map of the world. Kind of looks like the UN map, but it's really set up into sense. If you do navigate with this, you will get from LA to Hawaii in the same pattern you will with the GPS system. But what's happened in here is now he's got this focused on the North Pole in the center of our plate, the plate that we live on. And if you go completely north, you're going to follow exactly what you'll find on a map from the North Pole if you're going north. And then if you keep going, you're going to hit an ice wall after you pass a huge ocean water. And that's why a lot of people never go there. I mean, there's not that much landmass there. But if you start going northwest and you start branching off, you're going to find the same wall all the way around. And that's what I'm looking at right now. And it's quite interesting. Blows your mind when you think about it.
Right there is the North Pole.
Now he's pointing at the center of the plate.
Right here's America.
And he's lower. It's below the plate.
There's America.
Below the North Pole where we're at.
And the other continents.
And the other continents above.
All right. And what's this surrounding this? Let me get something to point this out.
What he's talking about is this ice wall that they have on this map.
Let me get a pencil or something here to do this with.
Well, why would they have that?
I should have been prepared for this. There we go.
And what's interesting...
What do we got here, friends? What is this surrounding? What is this map surrounding?
That's the ice wall.
Earth? This map was made in 1892. Let's watch a little bit more here, okay?
This gets good, so wait. Because these quadrants on this map have names. Okay. So somebody must have been there.
Okay. And then it tells a June solstice and a December solstice But I want you to look at this landmass here, okay?
See, he's gone down south now.
This landmass.
South from the North Pole, just
That's
south.
Antarctica. All right? Do you get the picture? We'll zoom on through this a little bit. Okay. Let's read this. Okay. See that? Right there. Map 10/4/1892. Map 773.
This was mapped out by the Buffalo company in Buffalo.
Electrotype and Engraving Company of Buffalo, New York, USA. Okay? Is this not a mind-boggler? Let's go a little bit further. See what they're doing here. Okay, it gives minutes and degrees of longitude and latitude. Sun time. Gives all this stuff. This is a Siemens map. Okay? And here we go. If you can read that, it tells about the December Celsius. Okay? It tells you how cold it is at the circle, along the circle of Antarctica at the edge of the earth, at the edge of the flat Earth. Okay, let's go on further here, friends. All right, and there it shows it. Okay, there's north, and there's the outer perimeter. Okay, let's go a little further, friends. Okay, this here tells about June Celsius. I'm sorry, I'm jumping around with this.
He's talking about solstice, June solstice. So this map also explains the seasons.
Trying to keep up with this video. Oh, let me back that up. Okay, if you can read that.
And I got to add, I watch that Weather Channel, and I'm getting so sick of it. When they start talking about NASA, they're always bringing out these space station pictures. How can we start, these weather people, the patterns that they tell us make sense on this kind of map, not on a globe. And they can't tell you that, though, or they get fired.
No, I'm sorry, but that's how it is. All right. This is a real map. Okay, I want you to see this. Boston Public Library. That's where this came from. All right. Now look at this.
I agree with this guy. I don't know why they pronounce library. It should be library. He said it, library. Why not? And I also don't like February. What is that? February or ooary? February. I'll say February and library. All right.
You see this name here? Grahamland. Okay? This...
All right, I got to explain this. Now, he's looking down. This is my favorite area. When you get down by the Falkland Islands and down in that area where you got landmass close to this ice wall. And if you go a little bit west, you're going to find Cape Horn. And then you're going to find also... If you keep going, you're going to find some other place, McCurdo Station, places that they tell us that's the bottom of the ball, but it ain't. Now, interesting here at the South Shetland Islands, then you go to the Drake Passage. You have, on this map, what's called Graham Land. Now, that's part of that ice wall down there. Now, what is that? I think somebody named Graham went there, found that, and that's why they named it after him. And as you go around this ice wall, you got all these names. The people have been there. But the powers that be don't want you to know this stuff. I got to say something, too. What kind of explorations do we usually do? They're either funded... We get some of these people saying they're private, like the guy that jumped out of the balloon for Red Bull. That wasn't he got backed by NASA so that they could show the fisheye lens of a fake Earth when he came down. Why don't we do a private exploration? I'm savvy on the ocean. I don't have the money to do it. But man, if we could get it up, why not? You got to have some people out there with a nice... We could go all the way, if Cook could do it with one of his old ships. The modern ships today, we got to have some millionaires out there that want to find out the truth here without NASA getting in our way. And start out down at the South Shetland Islands, in Graham Land there, and start traversing this wall all the way around. And that would be and Bird said 60,000 miles on one of these fascinating beautiful ships that they have now, we could get around and enjoy it. It would be a nice little trip, wouldn't it? We could document the whole thing. So somebody contact me. Let's do it. But what we're going to have is controlled expeditions. See, they're not going to let you in this ice wall over there where they're at. That's what this Antarctica Treaty is all about. And that's a treaty when Admiral Byrd was down there working for the government. He was a Freemason as well, so who knows what he's all about. But they understood what that ice wall was and what was behind there. And they lost a few airplanes that they couldn't explain why. And perhaps they crashed into something, a barrier. But that's why they formed this treaty. It's about 50, 60 countries. They won't let you anywhere near this. They don't want you to find out. But we can go all the way around. They can't keep you out of the ocean at those parts. We can go all the way around. And start here at Graham Land. That's what he's talking about. Back to him.
Is this here? This is the ocean, and this is Antarctica circling this land. Okay? Let's go a little further. Okay, let me back this up. I'm going too fast here. Okay, we've got Graham Land. All right, there's Graham Land. Let's go around a little further. Otherwise, this thing takes 2 days and an hour to move. There's Southern something. Okay, let's see.
It's a little island he's talking. Now we're moving. If you're at the bottom of the plate at 6 o'clock, we're moving counterclockwise now around this ice wall on this map, and then you're going to see a little island called South Georgia, which is near the beginning of this ice wall that they had mapped out in 1892. Now, why would
come up on that?
They map out an ice wall if it wasn't there? And
Arctic Circle.
Yep. Now we're traveling up our plate, up now counterclockwise. We're about 4 o'clock. 3, 4. It says Antarctic Circle. Now they put that there for a reason, because it is a circle. It's a circle of ice.
Can you imagine that? Did you see that? Let me back that up. Let's back that up. South George. Okay, where's that at?
I like this guy. He's my kind of guy. I can talk to people like this. They don't want to, hate those rich, snotty, smart people.
It doesn't. There we go. Antarctic Circle right there. I don't know if I'm showing anything. I'm probably looking at it. You're not even getting this.
How many? Oh, these rich yuppies. Yeah. Now that we're on a subject, how many of them are going to talk like this and believe? They're going to look at this and go, "Hey, let's go get a margarita. Let's go."
See it. There's Kemp Land.
All right, so we're traveling up this map, and I'm stopping it just to show you. Now, there's the McDonald's Islands, which are now we're traveling up about 2 o'clock maybe, up counterclockwise on our plate that we call Earth, and now it's named, this part of the Antarctic Circle is named Kemp Land. Now, why would they name it that? There had to be somebody named Kemp that went there, and he probably got there from the McDonald Islands, which aren't far. Okay, let's move on this circle.
Longitude east.
60.
Okay, look at this. You got...
this gets good. Now we're coming up. We're following that circle. We got Knox Land. We got Bud Land. And that ain't beer. What's the next one here?
What is that called? Gremlin Land, Bud Land, Knox Land, Treasure Land.
Oh, we got Treasure Land here.
Where they've made landfall. Okay? That's what this is about. Here's some more.
It is. This map shows us that landfall was made close to at these points, and they named it after the people who went there. Northland, then they called it. Then we keep moving up our plate. Clara Land, Adele Land. Maybe named it after his wife. Maybe she
Land,
went.
Clara Land, and Northland. Okay? There's Australia, friends. What's south of Australia? Do you get this picture, guys?
Yeah, but Australia ain't exactly where they tell us it is, under the bottom. If you look at this map, south of Australia, you're going to find that ice wall, yeah. But it ain't like... That's why when you go down there, that's why these planes, when they're down there and you're trying to fly a direct path from one to another, they can't. Because it doesn't exist the way we are told it does on a globe.
This is a map from 1892, all right? New Guinea, all right? And then we go back to here, Victoria Land. There's some more over here.
Getting a picture now, we're coming around.
These are the different points south. All right. Now, why did they make this map? You want to explain it to me? Why did they make this map?
All right, I'm going to explain it to you. They made it because that's what they did. An exploration, actually went and traveled around, followed that ice wall like we could do today, and that's what they found. And because there was no entrance in, they kept going around, and they had to name certain land spots. They stopped, and so they figured, okay, let's name these places so that we have a reference point to where we went. They didn't just make this up like NASA made up the globe. They didn't just make it up like NASA makes up the space stations and all their flight. No, they actually went there on a ship. And I prefer to put my trust in this than that fraudulent operation called NASA that's built us for trillions of dollars, and we would have a rightful lawsuit for trillions. Matt Damon, get the money from them. Out the Vatican, out all these people, and their Lucifer telescope in Arizona, where they desecrated Indian property and put a telescope on. To do what? To tell us that, aliens are coming? Give me a break.
Okay. Is that not funny? Are you getting the picture?
No, I got the picture, and my buddy here got the picture, but how many of you out there will get the picture? You know what? I know a lot of things are said, but I'll tell you what. If you don't look into this subject and you think that it's crazy, then you got a problem. I don't care where you come from. I don't care what denomination. I don't care what. You got a problem. A big problem. And some of you Bible believers out there who are criticizing me over this, you got a problem too. Because I don't think the Bible ever says globe. But you believe every word in the Bible when it suits you. All right.
Are you getting the picture of what we're getting here, guys?
I got the picture.
And there it is, friends. There it is. There is the flat Earth, and there's the land, the ice land of Antarctica that circles the flat land of the Earth.
All right. Now, if you look at this map, you're going to see that North Pole is above us. We're down here in the States, and you got Canada moving right up to the North Pole. If you continue straight north, you're going to find some really interesting things. Go to that map. If you go northwest, you're going to find some interesting things. Now, why don't we get an expedition together, find some rich guy with a boat's got nothing better to do but drink margaritas, and get some people that are savvy, that know what they're doing on the ocean, that want to prove at least what we live on before we leave this place. Now, I'm telling you, these people back in those days had much more sense than we do. We are a bunch of sheeple that follow our government. We'll listen to Matt Damon. We'll listen to all these people, but we won't ever listen to common sense. And to normal people like my buddy here who's presenting this nice little record of what this place we live on looks like. And I'll tell you what, when I close my little eyes on that deathbed, and you know I'm manufacturing them, why not? Everybody's, you always talk about a deathbed, but I don't know of anyone's, what is every bed a deathbed? No. All right? I ain't going to close my eyes, and I'm not seeing a globe. I'm seeing a flat place. And I'm telling you what, I'm going to love to try to prove this, at least to myself, before I leave this place, because I really, call me strange, but I want to know what I lived on for these, I guess, how many years that God will give me. I don't know about you, but maybe it doesn't matter. I don't see how it couldn't. Back in tomorrow on the Investigative Journal.
Since the beginning of time, kings have sought it, nations have fought for it. It has been traded, it has been borrowed, it has been purchased, it has been stolen. There's a reason for it. To secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and to our posterity. Invest with the security of gold and silver. Call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188 or visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net. Listen to Financial Survival with your host, Melody Cedarstrom, right here on FirstAmendmentRadio.com at 4 p.m. Eastern or 1 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit DiscountGoldandSilverTrading.net or call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188. Toll free, 1-800-375-4188.
American Family News, I'm Chris Woodward. As Americans prepare to celebrate another Independence Day, someone has been stealing the markers from veterans' graves in Rhode Island. Rita Foley reports.
2 men are under arrest in Rhode Island accused of selling bronze markers from veterans' graves for scrap. A scrap dealer called the cops after paying $485 for the markers, which experts say are actually worth $20,000. Police say they used the metal yard surveillance video to identify their suspects. Robert Haney of West Warwick and Michael Gilligan of Providence are both in custody. I'm Rita Foley.
Aides to Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker say the Republican is entering the race for president. Walker's official kickoff is expected July 13th in Waukesha, Wisconsin. The Governor Chris Christie of New Jersey entered the race for the Republican presidential nomination earlier this week. Christie promises to tell it like it is, but David Bozell with For America says Christie has no shot as far as he is concerned.
One of his core staples of his getting elected in New Jersey as governor was he was going to reshape the state Supreme Court over there. 4 times he nominated liberals, and a 5th he nominated one of the most liberal judges in the country to Chief Justice in New Jersey. Chris Christie is also on record as having supported Sonia Sotomayor. I don't think the Republican primary electorate has any patience for someone who's all talk and no action.
The Democratic presidential field has another hopeful.
In a statement posted on his website, former Virginia Senator Jim Webb says he's running for the Democratic